All right, let's start that race. Here we go. Is Jeremy going to be rusty? Or is he going to continue right where he left off with winning? Let's see. .35. Very nice. Here comes the next link. Let's keep it going. Yep, no problem. Do what you have to do. We'll do some Puzzle Racer and then we'll get into the lesson for tonight. You'll get the skill back, no doubt. It's there. We all know that it's there. Thanks, Joseph. Yeah, feels good on the rare occasion that I can beat Jeremy.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And it's Jeremy's turn to get 57. How about that? Well done, Jeremy, on the victory. I'll remind everyone that the winner of Puzzle Racer, if nobody gets a high score, it's going to be whoever wins the most races. But if anybody beats their personal high score, then let me know, because the first person to get a high score in Puzzle Racer wins the point for their team. David makes it above 20. Very nice. Yeah, that seems to happen a lot. It must be pretty common in Puzzle Racer and Puzzle Storm, because you get the easier puzzles first, and then at the end they get tougher and you can slow down. Every race, wow. We will start it soon. Hey there, Mikey. Welcome. We've missed you. Great to have you join us.
10, 9,
Let's start
8,
that race.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good race, everyone. Jeremy with another victory. Ishan and Yunyu very close behind him. And I have an announcement. David, he got a high score. I don't know if he beat his high score or if he tied it. Either way, it doesn't matter. He's the fourth one to get a high score tonight, which makes him the Puzzle Racer champion for tonight. So congratulations to David. He wins the point in Puzzle Racer for the blue team. We'll do a few more of these and then we'll get into the lesson. I have, yeah. I like Brandon Lake a lot. And I like that song a lot. I've listened to like maybe half of the songs on his new album. I definitely need to listen to the rest of them. I like his music.
Ten, 9, 8,
Here we go.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Wow, Jeremy, unbelievable. 69 points. That's got to be close to the high score. That is absolutely amazing. 76 is the high score. Still, what a run that was. Very nice. Yeah, Uni makes it up to 41. Is that a high score? That's amazing. It is. Wow. Well done, Uni. Congratulations. High score. Very well done. Ishan with 39 as well. And everyone with 17 or better. That's fantastic. What a run. Yep. Close to 70. Absolutely. Oh, wow, Joseph. That's crazy. Yeah, it's a great song. I'll be praying for him and your family. No problem, Mikey. Glad to hear you're okay. That's crazy. Yeah, we once had something kind of similar to happen to us. I'll be praying for you too.
Ten, 9, 8, 7,
Last race
6,
of the night. Here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Nice job to Jeremy on the victory, 48 points, very nice. So it's now time to go ahead and get started. Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get us started with the announcement first. So I'm going to pull this up here. Well done to Jeremy winning the majority of the races. And again, congrats to David on the personal best to get that puzzle racer point for the team. All right, so everyone direct your attention to the screen share. Here's a reminder of how you can earn battle points, solving puzzles and winning games, getting those ratings up, getting high scores outside of chess camp. Keep up the hard work, everyone. So for anyone who missed last week who's able to make it, a lot of people were unable to join, unfortunately, last week because of the hurricane in the Texas area. So on Tuesday, we had 3 students and we played a Crazy House Arena. Red team took home 7 points and blue team had 2 points that night. On Thursday, we had 4 people, a little bit better, but not enough for a team battle still. It would have been too much waiting for a match. So we played Racing Kings. Red team earned 6 points and blue team got 4 points on Thursday. Big shout out to Ishan, who came up big for his team last week, taking 4th place among the students in both tournaments. That means last week, in week 6, red team earned 13 points and blue team had 6 points. And outside of camp, blue team somewhat made up for that. Blue team brought home just over 8 points. Red team had just over 3 points outside of camp. Congrats to Ishan, who led the way outside of camp for the red team with 3.4 points last week. And Uni took the lead for the blue team and scored 3.8 points. David and William put up some points as well. So blue team had the advantage outside of camp last week. And now let's take a look. This Tuesday, it was a big day for the blue team because much of the group returned, and in our 4th team battle in 2 weeks, blue team made a strong statement. 4 blue team players, Joseph, Uni, William, and Eli, went undefeated, and blue team won 27-10 in an amazing performance. So all that means blue team has taken the lead for the month of July with 102.9 points, while red team has 87.7 points. So blue has made a bit of daylight, but there is still a long way to go in July. And there's especially a long way to go. A lot of chess to be played in July because of this. Since so many of us were unable to make it to camp last week, I will be hosting 2 makeup camp meetings in the future. Dates have not yet been set, but I'm going to email your parents with the information when I do decide on the dates. Mikey, I believe you're on the red team. Not Wednesday, okay. Yeah, I'll take requests for it. I was thinking either maybe Monday, maybe Wednesday. So let me know if one of those is better for you for the makeup day. Let me know because I definitely want as many people as possible to be able to make it. So we can do whatever day works best for the majority of us. Seems like maybe that would be Monday. Ishan says Saturday. All right. So as those come in, I'll announce that tonight, once again, is prize night. We're doing 2 prize nights this week to make up for not giving out any prizes. Last week, it would have been unfair to give out prizes with most of the group unable to make it. So we're giving out more prizes this week instead. And the prize for tonight is a choice between the Chessbook Stillman's Complete in-game course and a $20 Amazon gift card. Now, this book is the 4th chess book that I ever received, and it's such a good one. I've already given it out earlier on in this camp, but it's just such a good one. I'd rather give out a good book to 2 different people than, do a new book that is probably not as good. So I know that this is a good one. It's so well organized. It helps you to find what in-game skills you actually need to know at your rating level. Its teaching and explanations are also excellent. So if you don't have this book and you need to level up your in-game skills, I can definitely recommend it. So again, you can get either the book, which is about $20 or so, or a $20 Amazon gift card. So how do you win tonight's prize? This is how you can win it. The player with the quickest checkmate in the fewest moves with the black pieces wins tonight's prize. So tonight's a little bit different. Only your games with the black pieces are going to be an opportunity or eligible for you to potentially win the prize with them. So you want to get that checkmate in as quickly in as few moves as possible. Now, if mate was imminent in 3 moves or less, according to Stockfish, and your opponent resigns, you will be credited with the win as if you delivered checkmate on the move your opponent resigned. So that means if he resigns on move 17 and you had mate in 3, it is as if you checkmated in 17 moves. So resigning actually helps your opponent, just like it does in chess. So keep that in mind. Resigning is not going to be an effective strategy. When is resigning ever an effective strategy? I don't know. So let's move into the lesson. First of all, I just want to share this game. This is a really cool checkmate that I wanted to share with everyone. I think a lot of us will enjoy this. This is from a 10-minute rapid game that Jeremy played this morning. He shared this game with me. I just thought we'd all enjoy seeing this beautiful checkmate. Look at this. This is a crazy checkmate. The rook makes a wall on the c file, and the 2 bishops combine to make a wall on the e file. As this bishop unleashes a discovered checkmate, the bishops make a wall and keep the king at bay. It's just crazy. A beautiful checkmate. So yeah, I thought we'd enjoy that to start off the lesson. What a checkmate. So we're going to take a look at one game here, and this is not a game from International Master Jay Bonin from the book. This is actually a correspondence game that I played about 2.5 years ago. So if you notice an enormous difference in the quality of the game, it's because I played it and not an International Master. So we're gonna take a look at this game here. I had the black pieces, 4 knights opening, and we'll go through the opening quickly as usual. And we're continuing the theme of from the chapter in the book about how to turn draws into wins. And you're going to see that this endgame was technically like a theoretically drawn endgame, but it actually, like Stockfish said, 0.0, it should be a draw. But it ended up, spoiler alert, it ended up being a win. So you can absolutely win those endgames that people say should be a draw. And you just have to fight and keep on playing your very best chess. So that's how you do it. And you're going to see how that happened. So I'm centralizing the queen here. And now attacking the pawn. And I do win a pawn here. And I stay up a pawn for much of the rest of the game. We see the knight attacking the queen. And now notice this. I can't be greedy and take another pawn because after knight takes c5, my d-pawn is pinned to my rook. And white would have just won a piece. So there's a surprising tactical blow. So I have to be alert for that. I can't just take another pawn. Sometimes taking pawns is dangerous, and you have to know. Generally, it's good to know like when a piece is undefended. It's going to be vulnerable to tactics. Someone once said, loose pieces drop off. It means any piece undefended, it might become the victim of a tactic. So it's good to be aware when you have a pin. Like this pawn is pinned, it's not actually defending the bishop because the rook is undefended. That's a problem. So just being aware of that will help you to not make those kinds of blunders. So I played d takes c5. Certainly would have been nice to not triple my pawns, but I was younger then, so I gave myself this terrible pawn formation. Rook to d1. The queen's trade, the rook's trade. I'm activating the rook, and I'm happy with my position here. I'm up a pawn. I've got the more active rook, the rook that's doing some attacking, but at the same time, I have tripled pawns. So I'll just throw on the engine. It says I'm up a little bit less than a pawn, but still better for black. And after f6, I'm up a pawn, but Stockfish says this is drawn, probably because of how terrible my tripled pawns are. I think it didn't love the move f6 either. So the kings now activate. And as we see some more moves happening here in this endgame, now I notice how I traded one of the tripled pawns off with this move c4 here. When you have bad pawns, you want to try to exchange them for your opponent's better pawn. So this was a good strategic move to just trade off those pawns. You don't want to trade off too many pawns. Maybe that was a bit of a mistake of mine to be willing to trade off so many pawns, because the pawns, they are the winning chances. And so if I'm leaving myself with rook pawns, which tend to be drawn, and doubled pawns, which tend to be weak, it's not the best of ideas. So I do get this pawn, but the rook invades here for white. That's good news for white. He gets a nice active rook. And so the king defends. And now I'm pushing my doubled pass pawn here, getting the king active, putting the rook where it wants to be, and he does the same thing. The rooks want to be on the 7th rank where they can target pawns. I push the pawn, and we see a lot of pawns coming off the board again. Maybe not the greatest of decisions to lose all these pawns, since the pawns are where the queening and the winning chances are in the game. I play c3. I'm trying to get this pawn promoted. C2, and rook to c7. And now notice the problem. I'm kind of stuck. If I push and promote, he takes. And if I ever want to get the rook here, I'm not able to, because he would just take the pawn. And if I check, he takes the pawn, and he's got 2 attackers, and I only have 1 defender, and I can't possibly get the pawn to promote. So I'm not going to promote the c pawn, so I have to change my plan and play king e5. And now I want you to notice this. White could have actually taken the pawn here. He didn't do it in the game, but White could have taken and still gotten back in time. If he plays rook takes c2 and the rooks trade, you may think this looks like it's going to be winning for black, and it kind of does look that way. But this is a very helpful technique to know, so pay attention to this. If White gets to h1, nothing I can say or do will ever remove his king from that blockading square. That's going to be a hopeless draw. So I have to stop him from getting to h1. He's just going to block the pawn forever. So therefore, I have to play king h2 to keep his king out. But now he has a different drawing idea. This is a great idea for everyone to know. King f2, White traps my king in front of my pawn, and my pawn can never get past my king now. Wherever my king goes, he's going to follow. You see how there's no getting away. There's no getting out from in front of my pawn. I'm never going to be able to push the pawn. So let's see what happens if I push. He goes toward the corner. Again, if king g2, he gets where he wants to go, king g1, and then followed by king h1. Same idea. The blockade will never be lifted. So I stop him from doing that. And in this case, he would just be able to stop me. He could also have gone here, and he's getting to the blockade. Doesn't really matter. I think this was probably a draw as well. So anyway, back to the game. I pointed that out because White could have just taken my pawn and still gotten back in time with that king trap on the h file that I just showed you. But instead, he didn't do that. He actually he plays this move, rook to c5, and now king g2. Notice that now rook takes c2 is super losing because my king gets the pawn and gets out of the way too quickly. Eric Rosen indeed. Yep. So notice this. I bet Eric Rosen could win this. I bet a lot of people could win this. The pawn will queen easily at this point. And now rook to a3. Instead of going into that drawn line, I keep my h-pawn and my winning chances alive. So now here's the point where this is definitely supposed to be a draw. Because when you are a rook pawn up, oftentimes it is a draw. However, as I said in the last chapter, should be a draw does not mean it will be a draw. So watch how I continue to fight. If I were to be offered a draw here, it's good to just keep on fighting, and you don't want to give up and accept a draw when you could still theoretically have a chance to win, because your opponent might make a mistake, which is very common in chess. So I'm pushing the pawn, trying to find a way to advance. A key idea is to get my king in, because if I can get my king in and stop White from getting his king in, then that's an idea, and that's gonna help me to win. Now, if king to g3, how does White draw? This is a cool puzzle. Tell me in the chat, what can White play to make a draw in this position? It looks like a good move, getting my king active, but White has a way to draw. This happened to you, Ishan. Cool. Yeah, well done to Ishan. Rook takes h3. Yep, exactly. Good job. Good job to everyone. Good job, Colby. Everyone who got that. Yep. Rook takes h3. Very cool tactic. If I don't take, he wins the rook and White's winning. So, of course, I take. And White takes. Very cool distraction tactic. The king is overloaded. It's defending the pawn and defending the rook. And so when White notices that, he can take advantage. And this is going to be a draw. It's not checkers. King versus king is always going to be a draw. So now we see some more moves happening as the endgame continues. I bring in the rook, and white is feeling squeezed. The white rook's good legal moves are so limited, it paves the way for an incredible Zugzwang here. You know, he's got the rook blockading the pawn, but at the cost of giving it, you know, pretty much no freedom whatsoever. So now, notice at this point, should I trade rooks here? Tell me that in the Zoom chat. Is taking the rook a good move? The rook trade will happen, I should point out, because my rook is pinned. But should I take? Or is there another move? And if so, find the move. This is a good puzzle. What should black play here? Good job to everyone saying no. Good job, William, Jeremy. Joseph, yep. The right move. Notice that if I were to trade rooks, everyone seemed to know if I trade rooks, then the king would take, and then we'd get to the blockading square that I was just talking about. So that's not a good idea. But the right move, which makes white resign, is the move that a few people got in the chat, king to h2. And this crazy move it makes white resign, and I won the game right here. So this is amazing. My king invades, and black only has 3 terrible legal moves. He can move the king here and lose his rook. He can move the rook here and lose his rook. Or he can take, in which case I would simply queen and win. So it's quite a funny ending position. This was the 4th game that I ever bookmarked or saved on Lichess. This was a really cool game. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. It was a really a great example of why you don't want to just accept a draw, even if I don't just mean like accepting a draw offer, but even just like accepting a draw mentally, like just saying to yourself, okay, this is going to be a draw. It's kind of a boring position. I'm going to stop fighting. I'm going to lose interest in the game. I'm going to stop, you know, thinking actively about what I want to do. Just keep on fighting, playing your very best chess, and you might find a way to get the win instead. Whenever you have an extra pawn or any advantage of any kind whatsoever, even if it's a pawn majority on one side, even if material is equal, like what I've talked about in previous lessons, any advantage whatsoever, you should play on, push for a win, and trust in the well-known truth that humans make mistakes. That's true, William. Yeah. Glad to hear that, Joseph. Thanks. I think it's much more likely that you win than that you lose. And so you've got to trust in that probability that, you know, if you're up a pawn or something, you're probably going to win. It's not as likely that you lose. So I understand the fear of that, but you want to have the confidence that you know, realize that you're more likely to win if you really do have an advantage. So you're better off pushing for a win and continuing to fight. Plus, accepting a draw doesn't like teach you anything. You know, if you want to really get better at chess, then you know, play on, fight, go for the win, and then you'll learn more from the game. Because if you lose, it'll be a lesson, maybe a painful one, but it'll be a lesson. And if you win, you'll have a game that you'll be happy to look back on too. That's right, Joseph. Yeah, well said. Yep. Yep. It absolutely. It shows what you need to learn specifically, because you know exactly, you can look at exactly what mistake you made if you end up losing or if you end up drawing and you should have won, and then you know what you need to fix in your chess game, whether it's an in-game idea or something else. So yeah, you definitely learn more from fighting than from accepting a draw or just, you know, stopping the concentration. Excelsior Online, wow. Those are the old days, long time ago. I remember that. That was fun. I always win because kings are yummy. Yeah. I guess you could eat your own king after getting checkmated. There's no rule that says you have to eat the opponent's king. So even if you get checkmated, you can eat your own king. And then you can eat your opponent's king, even though he checkmated you. And then you just really have a good meal. All right, we've got 9 people in the tournament. Link is in the chat. I think we've got a nice even amount of players. We got 5 on the blue team, 4 on the red team so far. Expecting 12 people, which is our entire group. The whole group is here. That's awesome. Great to see everyone here. A lot more than we had last week. So I'll push the tournament start time up once everyone joins. And we'll have a 6-on-6 battle tonight. Hopefully there will not be nearly as much waiting for a game as there have been sometimes. And we're going to have a good battle. Blue team leads by about 15 points. And David won the puzzle race, so I'm going to add a point for blue team. So blue team's up by about 16 points right now. But we have quite some way to go. 10 people now in the tournament. Let me know if anyone is having any trouble getting in or needs a minute, or if anyone will not be joining. That way we won't wait too much. There's that link one more time. Oh yeah, that's a great idea. You've just given us a great idea for like Christmas cookies, Joseph. You got to make like chess piece cookies. Rookie cookie. Yeah, king cookie. I know that's what Colby would want. Loves to eat the kings. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right. You get 8. That's a good point. Very smart, Jeremy. Get the pawns. Maybe they're small, but you get 8 of them. That's still probably more cookie than anything else would be. Well, since we've got 10 people, I'll go ahead and start. You know, you can always join just a little bit late. So I'm going to go ahead and move this tournament up, and we will get started right now. We're going to have a solid 80, almost 80 minutes of chess tournament time. Yeah, Queen is probably pretty big, but you only get 1 of them. Oh, a queen would be 9 pawn cookies. I see that now. Yeah, cool. It's true. It's a valuable cookie. Maybe it's like extra yummy. Quality beats quantity. All right, board number 1, the matchup that we haven't seen in a while, night versus day, as we once pointed out, the good night versus dire dawn. It's going to be a great one. On board number 2, we have Mikey versus William. On board number 3, Josias versus Uni. Board number 4, it's Andrew versus Colby. And on board 5, David, the Puzzle Racer champion, against Ellie. Let's do it.